Part 3 of the Great North Walk. Now I've made it to Watagan headquarters and started out from there for the last 3 days of the walk. So went through to Heaton Gap, and some of the walking just on the southern side of Heaton Gap is pretty difficult, very undulating up and down. It had rained recently, so it was quite wet and muddy and slippery. Found it pretty arduous, that part of the trail there. The lookout up at Heaton is amazing, as well as your past Hunter lookout. Looking out over the Hunter Valley is spectacular as well. And then I stayed in accommodation in at Spears Point for the last 2 days. I got shuffled in and out by transport. The day from Freeman's Waterhole into Spears Point was probably one of the least scenic days along the trail. Yeah, in and around the lake is very pretty, but other than that, there was a lot of just foot slogging to get into that area. And then from Spears Point into Newcastle, you pass through some quite pretty and nice places, some different conservation areas, and then down past Merriweather Bars and up on the, I think it's the Anzac Centenary Trail, so it was quite nice up there. And then by the time you reached Queen's Wharf, it was a pretty good feeling, and looking forward to celebrating with a beer. Probably the only one disappointing thing is in Queen's Wharf, there's no real sort of anything placed up there to acknowledge the Great North Walk and the completion of it. So have a look at the last 3 days of this walk, and hopefully you'll get out there amongst it. Great North Walk, day 7. Well, last night ended up being a bit of an epic. Got into camp a little before dark and set up. Ended up walking all the way through to Watagan Forest headquarters. Ended up being a 32-kilometre day and close to 50,000 steps. That means for a much easier day today. So after the big storm we got last night and thunder and lightning that come through camp, decided to get up late today, and I didn't leave until 8 o'clock. So just got only a few hours to go now. I'm very close to Heaton Lookout, and then won't be camping for the last 2 nights. I'll be staying in accommodation and walking the last 2 sections. But last night we had a few regional campers come out from the cities. Had their music going and karaoke happening. A few beers were shared around amongst their groups, but they weren't too bad. Once the storm come along, it kind of made everyone go to bed. So today was a lot of it on fire trail, and then we've been down on some single form tracks in past a creek that was pretty steep down, pretty steep up, and steep on the other side of Heaton Lookout. Then after that, it should be all easy work, all downhill from there. Okay, talk to you later. that's day 8 of the Great North Walk completed. I'm now back in the accommodation at Lake Macquarie. This morning was a pretty nice hike in around the Heaton Gap area. Follows a lot of fire trails once you climb up to the top of that area, and then you're sharing the fire trails with a variety of recreational users such as trail bikes and road cars and four-wheel drives. From there, it then comes down to Wakefield Drive, and it was pretty boring walking after that along the side of the road. However, the kilometres had to be done to get into Terrelba, and Terrelba was a nice little sort of small township on the edge of the lake, and then you make your way around the lake to Spears Point, which is where I completed today. So we cracked it out to 18 kilometres today. Tomorrow will be around 22 kilometres for me to finish into Newcastle. I did swap the big pack out for a small pack today, and it's amazing how much quicker you can move and how much more agility you have. Also the body and the feet, with a good rest yesterday and a nice comfy bed, also made a fairly big difference as well. So this afternoon I'll just rest up, hydrate up, and then get up early in the morning, have some breakfast, and I'll make my way through Glenrock area, conservation area, along Merriweather Baths into the city, and finish at Queen's Wharf Hotel, as the Queen's Wharf no longer exists. So that's all for today. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow when I've finished the walk. That's day 9 of the Great North Walk. Today started out at Spears Point and wandered along beside the lake. It's a really great outlook there on the water, nice and cool, bit of sun blowing around. After that, heading through some streets and bushlands, a bit of mixture of vegetation. Glenrock's pretty nice, as most of the locals up around Newcastle will be well aware of. You come out via Glenrock Lagoon and along the beach, and there's a whole heap of existence of coal and coal infrastructure there, of sea wharves and rail platforms and the like. A little bit hard going there. You've got to take your shoes off and walk in the soft sand for a number of kilometres to get down to Merriweather Baths. Shoes back on, and you make your way along the beautiful Landsat Memorial. One of our clients and mates, Nick Wager, had a bit of a hand in building that. Pretty good job. Everyone should get up and have a look at it. I'll put a few photos up of it later. Then you sort of zigzag your way through it was King George Park and down onto Queen's Wharf. The finish is a little bit of an anticlimax there. Not really well signed. It's like Newcastle has forgotten about the walk, to be honest. But yeah, all in all, pretty good walk. Today's totals, I just got them written down here. There's 23.5 kilometres, 514 metres of ascent, 420 metres of descent, and I've clocked up 36,000 steps. Just to give you a bit of a total for the whole 9 days, the kilometres come out at 193.3 kilometres, 6,182 metres of ascent, 5,710 metres of descent. So pretty fair workout over the course of 9 days. 29 kilo start pack weight, 21 kilo finish. Last couple of days done on a day pack though, so much lower than 9-10 kilos maximum. Other than that, what would I do differently next time if I was to do it again? I'd look at doing a food drop at least at Summersby or perhaps Yarmalung as well. And most people would probably want to look at adding in 1 or 2 days. It makes it a little bit less weary on your feet. It really pushes the boundaries, doing it over the course of 9 days from Watagan. What would I bring? What would I wouldn't bring again? What I wouldn't bring would be a towel. I think that extra weight for one wash is not really worth the hassle. Maybe just chuck in a Chuck's towel and use that to dry yourself off somewhat. What I would bring would be insect repellent, even just a very small half bottle. Just a few of the campsites, there was a few mozzies around, surprisingly, even high up on the bridges. Items I'm most glad to have on the trip: my thongs to air my feet out every night, let the blisters recover. Walking pole, definitely. And a sturdy pack, like the One Planet pack I had, really helped share that load and distribute it, rather than just sitting all on your hips or all on your shoulders or digging into your back. What next? Well, there's plenty I could do. Looking at finishing off the walk from Kunjiwoi out to the Hunter. It's a different arm of the Great North Walk. The Aussie Alpine Walk would be something I'd like to do one day, perhaps even if in parts, because it's around 650 kilometres, but Canberra to Kosciuszko would be probably a short to medium term goal. What was I after in this journey, I suppose, was just to really push the limits emotionally and mentally. Your bodies can tolerate a hell of a lot more than you'll ever give them credit for, and I'm aware of that from the various trips we do. The mind can go to superlative heights if you really need it to. So, yeah, I really wanted to get a bit of pain out of the body and mental pain, and to train that mental toughness up. And I think I ticked those boxes, so I was really glad to have done it the way I've done it. Certainly not easy. Definitely very, very tough over the 9 days. At the moment, my legs are stiff, sore, aching. The other day with the heavy packs on your hips, hip flexors, everything aching. But, pulled through each day, the body recovers every night, and I'm glad that I've done it. Would I recommend it to people? Yeah, it's a great walk. I think people should have a look at doing it, or doing it in sections. If you're interested in doing a walk like this as a guided sort of expedition, let me know. We might be able to put something together. Let me know in the comments below. Other than that, for now, cheers.